Self-OS. Awareness is power.
You put the mask on this morning. Maybe you've been wearing it so long you forgot it was there. You got up, you showed up, you did what you were supposed to do. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, you were exhausted in a way that had nothing to do with sleep. That's who this is for. Not the people who have it figured out. Not the ones with the highlight reel. The ones who get home and finally put it down. And when they put it down, they sit in the quiet and feel the weight of having held it together all day. That's you. That's who's in the room right now. You already know what you need to do. You've known for a while. And you still can't make it stick. Not because you're lazy, not because you don't care, not because you haven't tried, because the version of you that does it doesn't feel like you yet. And that feeling is convincing enough that you go back to the pattern, back to the reaction, back to the version of yourself you're tired of, because at least it feels like home. And home, even when home is the thing that's been costing you, is hard to leave. I've done that. I tried to think differently, tried to show up differently. And the positive felt so forced, so much like a performance, that I went right back to what felt real, back to what felt like me. Even though what felt like me had been producing the same result for years, the same negative result, over and over. And I kept going back to it because at least it was familiar. And familiar felt like truth. Here's what I know now that I didn't know then. The familiar isn't more real. It's just older. And the discomfort you feel when you try to change, that feeling of wrong, that's not a warning. That's the old version of you recognizing it's losing ground. That's what this episode is. The frontier. The place where the new version of you is trying to breathe. And everything in you says go back. We're going to talk about what's actually happening there and why you don't have to listen to it.
Ever notice how one thought becomes 10? A machine that won't stop chewing. The mind turning on itself. Running loops. Replaying futures. There's a guide in reflection. Pause before you react. 6 questions. 1 clear response. Step between the first thought and the next 100. You're here. This is Self-OS. Episode 10. The frontier.
Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you tried to change something about yourself and it felt easy? Not eventually easy, not easy after a few weeks, easy on day one. In the moment, natural, like it was already you. Take a second with that. Probably never. Or if something comes to mind, it probably wasn't that far from who you already were. The gap was small enough that the transition felt smooth. Real change doesn't feel smooth. Not for anyone. Not once. Anyone telling you it should either hasn't done it or forgot what it cost. I want to talk about going back because I think it's the thing nobody is honest about. You try. You genuinely try. You catch the pattern. You respond differently for a day, maybe 2. And then something fast happens, something real, something that doesn't give you time to think. And you're back. You reacted the old way, said the old thing, felt the old feeling. And the voice is right there.
See, this is who you are. That other version, that was just a performance. This is the real you. Right? No. Yeah. It is. It has to be. Because this is what keeps happening. This is who you are.
And here's why that voice is so hard to argue with. It feels true, more true than the version you were building. The old pattern feels like coming home. The negativity feels grounded. The doubt feels like wisdom. Because it's familiar. And familiar feels like truth. Here's what I want you to understand. Familiar is not the same as true. Familiar means your nervous system has done it 1,000 times. It means the groove is deep. It means it runs without effort. And the brain labels anything that runs without effort as safe. Safe feels like right. The new direction costs something. It requires attention. It doesn't run automatically. The brain labels that as threat, and threat feels like wrong. So when you feel like the new version is fake, that's not your gut. That's your brain running a threat response on something it doesn't recognize yet.
Okay. But that's theory. In the actual moment, I'm not thinking about threat responses. I'm just feeling wrong. And feeling wrong is hard to argue with. I mean, what do you even do with that? If it feels real, it is real.
You're right. Knowing this doesn't make the feeling disappear. The feeling doesn't care about the explanation, but knowing it creates something, a half-second gap between the feeling and what you do with it. And that gap, that half second, is where everything changes. Let me tell you about the voice, because I know you have one. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't call you worthless. It's quieter than that. It sounds like experience, like common sense, like someone who's been around long enough to know better.
This isn't sustainable. You've tried before. Nothing around you has actually changed. What makes you think this time is different?
Every one of those sounds reasonable. That's the whole problem. It's not rational. It's not obviously wrong. It's a pattern wearing the clothes of wisdom. It's handing you a permission slip in your own voice to stop. And the voice is not your enemy. It built itself around protecting you at some point. It had reasons. Maybe it kept you from standing out. Maybe it kept you from failing in front of people who mattered. Maybe it made you smaller so something felt safer. The problem isn't the voice. The problem is when it becomes the decision maker.
Those are my thoughts. That is my voice. You're telling me to ignore my own mind. How does that even work? If I don't listen to it, what's left?
I'm not telling you to ignore it. I'm telling you to recognize it. Those thoughts are yours the same way a star is yours. It belongs to you. It came from something real. But it's not all of you. The version of you that built that pattern was solving a problem, but you're not in that situation anymore. And the pattern doesn't know that. It just keeps running. Here's the actual move. Not positive thinking, not fighting the voice, not trying to logic your way out of a feeling. Recognition. You catch it. Mid-sentence, mid-reaction. Whenever you catch it and you say one thing, that's the pattern. That's what it does. That's all it is.
That's it? Say a sentence to myself. That sounds like a bumper sticker. Seriously?
I know. I wanted something bigger too. Something that matched the size of the problem. But here's what that sentence actually does. It moves you from inside the thought to outside it. Instead of living in it, you're watching it. And a thought you're watching has less authority than a thought you're inside of. That's not nothing. That's the beginning of the gap. The track you're about to hear is going to hold you at that edge, where the voice is loudest, where the discomfort is real. Don't fight anything in it. Don't fix anything. Just notice. That's the pattern. That's what it does. And stay anyway.
You've said it before. Change is difficult. And it was true. And it gave you permission to stop. Notice that. You didn't fail. You stopped where it felt safe. And you called that enough. The voice says this isn't you. It sounds certain. It sounds familiar. It sounds like it knows what it's talking about. And it does. It knows the version of you that stayed the same. It's right about one thing. This isn't the version of you it knows. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it's new. And new doesn't feel like you. Not at first. Not for a while. The discomfort isn't a warning. It feels like one, but it isn't. It's the old version of you losing its grip. It's what happens when something stops fitting the way it used to. That foreign feeling, that wrong feeling, that tightness you can't explain, that hesitation, that second where everything in you says, go back. It's supposed to be here. That's the part no one tells you. You're not doing it wrong. You're doing it right. And it doesn't feel right. The discomfort is not a stop sign. It feels like one, but it's not. It's proof something is changing, proof something is shifting underneath what you're used to. Familiar is not the same as true. It never was. It just felt easier not to question it, not to look too closely. Stay in the direction, even when it feels off, even when it feels wrong, even when everything in you wants to pull back. What if the feeling of wrong is just the feeling of new? What if that resistance isn't danger? It's movement? What if you've been calling it a warning when it was actually a signal? A signal that says, this matters. This is different. Don't turn around this time. You're here. Whether you like it or not, whether it feels right or not, you're here. The frontier. That edge where nothing feels stable. Where you don't recognize yourself yet. Where you don't feel sure. This is where it changes. Not when it feels good. Not when it feels clear. Right here. The discomfort is not a stop sign. It's proof something is changing. Familiar is not the same as true. Stay in the direction. Just stay. Even if it's messy, even if it's slow, even if you don't trust it yet, stay long enough to see what happens next.
Take a second. Whatever came up in that track, whatever the voice said, whatever felt uncomfortable, that's information. Not a grade, not evidence of anything being wrong, just information. And you're still here. That matters more than you know. I know what some of you are sitting with right now, because I've sat with it.
This makes sense here. In a quiet room, listening. But real life is fast. It doesn't slow down, so I can catch the pattern. By the time I notice, I've already reacted. I've already said it, done it, gone back. And now I feel worse. Because I know better. And I still did it.
Yeah, that's real. That's exactly how it works in the beginning. You don't catch it in the moment. You catch it 20 minutes later, or the next morning, or 3 days later when the same moment comes back around and something in you goes, oh, That's what that was. And here's what I need you to hear. That still counts. Recognition after the fact is still recognition. Late doesn't mean lost. The gap gets shorter over time, not because you get smarter, because you showed up. And first it's 3 days later, then it's the same day, then it's an hour, then mid-sentence, something in you just pauses. That pause is what you've been building toward. Every single late recognition was a rep. I want to come back to something. That sentence from the beginning, change is difficult. I've said it probably more times than I should admit, and I meant it as an observation. I told myself I was just being honest. But if I'm really honest, sometimes I said it and something eased off. The pressure dropped just slightly because I just explained to myself why struggling was acceptable. That's the permission slip. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't feel like quitting. It feels like wisdom. It feels like self-awareness. It feels like I know myself well enough to know this is hard. And underneath all of that, it's just the pattern, doing what it always does, using the true thing to keep you still. I want to say something uncomfortable, and I want to say it because I think you can handle it. Listening to this is not the work. I know how that sounds, but stay with me. What's happening right now, the shift you feel, the things that are landing, that's real. That insight is real, but insight has a way of masquerading as progress. You can feel like you've moved when you've actually just understood something. And understanding something and doing something with it are two completely different things.
Then what's the point of all this?
The point is, now you have a name for it. The next time you're in the fast moment, the real moment, you have one sentence. That's the pattern. That's what it does. Not a meditation, not a framework. One sentence. And then you keep going. Break the Pattern goes deeper into the mechanics of all of this. The science, the framework, the full picture. Linked is in the description. I want to leave you with something. You put the mask on this morning. You held it together. You showed up. You did what you were supposed to do. And underneath all of that, you've been carrying this. The weight of trying to be different, the exhaustion of knowing what you need to do and not being able to make it feel real yet. I want you to know something. That weight means you're moving. The exhaustion means you're at the edge. The discomfort means the old version is losing ground. You're not failing. You're at the frontier. And the frontier is supposed to feel like this. Uncomfortable. Foreign. Like you're performing something you haven't earned yet. You're not performing. You're becoming it. The ones who made it through, every single one of them, stood exactly where you're standing. Hearing the same voice, feeling the same pull, wondering if the old version was actually fine. It wasn't fine. That's why you're still here. New eventually becomes familiar, and familiar eventually feels like you. Keep going.
You're still here.
That matters.
The discomfort is still there too.
That's not a problem.
That's the direction being real.
Stay in it.
Even when it feels foreign.
Especially then.
The frontier isn't a place you arrive at.
It's a place you keep walking into.
Self-OS.
Episode 10.
This was a production of Self-OS. Awareness is power.